This is Mission Control Houston as we take a view inside the Space Station Flight Control Room here at the Johnson Space Center. We're going to go now to Dr. Jeff Goldstein, who is part of the Center Director. He is the Center Director of the National Center for Earth and Space Science Education up in Maryland. He is intimately involved with some of these student experiments that are flying up on Orbital Science. So, Dr. Goldstein, first of all, welcome to NASA Television. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about what's ahead for this flight. It's been a long wait for this particular mission. It was due to launch in December. Now here we are in January with it on the pad, ready to go. Talk about, first of all, what's on board and sort of the excitement from the student side. Are they ready to go and ready to take a look at this rocket as it heads up to the space station?
Yeah, everybody's really looking forward to this. We have 23 experiments that are flying as part of the Student Spaceflight Experiments Program. And each of these experiments represents a community across the U.S. We even have one community in Stonewall, Manitoba, Canada, where each community had a real science competition to design and select an experiment to fly to the International Space Station in diverse science disciplines. So each of these experiments represents the culmination of hundreds of students that were fully immersed in microgravity experiment design and proposal writing. So we have, the SSEP program has 2 flight opportunities a year, and we've got 12 experiments on our Mission 3B payload going up and 11 experiments on our Mission 4 payload going up. And these students are really excited. They're all going to be conducting their ground truth experiments at the same time the experiments are being conducted on orbit. And we've got experiments in microbiology, stem cell research, nanotubes, mutations of DNA, fermentation in space, development of salamander eggs, really a very wide variety of research disciplines.
So how did these students come up with these experiments? Because taking a look at them, I got to admit, it's quite a bit different than some of the stuff that I studied whenever I was in junior high and high school. I mean, this is real science that they're doing. So how do they come up with it, and what is it like for them to actually fly something actually up to the space station itself?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think the first starting point to answer that is to say that what we wanted to do is present a program that provides an absolutely authentic immersion in every facet of real research to students. And it's a recognition that our students are fully capable of doing that kind of research. I mean, researchers are in the business of organized curiosity and evidence-based learning for the human race. But our children are born curious, and they're born evidence-based learners, so they're fully capable of taking this on. And so the idea is to recognize that the idea of microgravity research is that if you put a system, whether it's a physical, chemical, or biological system, in a freely falling environment like the International Space Station, it will behave as if gravity is seemingly turned off. And so if you want to understand what the role of gravity is in a physical, chemical, or biological system, you can take it to a freely falling lab like ISS and do the same experiment on Earth with gravity present. And a comparison of those 2 experiments when they come back allows you to assess the role of gravity. So what these students are really doing is looking at the world around them and asking a very simple question: what kind of physical, chemical, or biological system do I see in operation here that I would like to assess in terms of the role of gravity in that system? And so it's really how scientists do their thing in the professional world. They see a problem that's exciting to them. They pose it in a way that could secure research assets, and they go and have fun.
Do you think this will inspire some of the students, as they get into college and choose what kind of career they want to head toward? Do you think that this will sort of be a launching pad for some of them, both literally and figuratively?
Absolutely. We are seeing so much information on the impact of this program, not only in terms of changing students' view of how science and research are actually done and the possibility that they can get involved in a career in STEM education. It's also changing the way teachers teach, because this is really about ownership in learning, being able to ask powerful questions, critical thinking, problem solving, being able to navigate an interdisciplinary landscape at will, which is what researchers all do, And we, in fact, even have a scholarly publication out of this. One of the high school students that started off on the final 2 flights of the shuttle now has a publication in a referee journal. So what we're really seeing here is influence on the next generation of scientists and engineers.
So for teachers and students that are out there watching this, when's the next opportunity that they could fly something? If they're interested, what do they need to do?
Well, if they do a Google search on Student Spaceflight Experiments Program, it'll take them right to our website. And the next flight opportunity is Mission 7 to the International Space Station. There's going to be a formal national announcement in February, but they certainly can contact us now on the contact button on the website. And Mission 7 has an experiment design phase in fall of 2014 with a flight to ISS scheduled for spring of 2015. So it's all the 2014-2015 academic year. And each community that participates in the program is provided a real microgravity research mini laboratory and launch services to get that mini lab containing a single student team designed experiment to ISS, have an astronaut operate the experiment according to the student protocol, and have it returned safely for harvesting and analysis. And this program, by the way, I should point out, is made possible through a Space Act agreement between NASA and NanoRacks to fly commercial payloads. So this is, I believe, the first U.S. national STEM education initiative that provides on-orbit access done on the commercial space side. And all of the students, the thousands of students participating in this program, understand that they're part of the history of this new era of commercial space.
Well, to take a look at more information about the student experiments that are flying as part of this Orbital Sciences flight this week, we invite you to log on to nasa.gov/orbital. We've got links there to Dr. Jeff Goldstein's webpage, the homepage for these student experiments. You can read about what the kids and the students are going to be doing, as well as the schools that they're from. Dr. Jeff Goldstein, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome.